All right, to talk more about Senator Feinstein's legacy and what might be next in terms of the 2024 race, want to bring in our political analyst right now. On the Republican side, Tim Rosales; on the Democratic side, Ed Emerson. Guys, thanks so much for joining us tonight. Ed, I want to start with you because you are the Democrat here at this virtual table. I don't know how much of Eitan's story you saw there, but I think he did a remarkable breakdown of showing what Senator Feinstein, what she accomplished, and whether you agree with her or not, it's undeniable. And I think that just sort of the storyline now, her age and her fitness and all these reports that have come out, we forget what she went through and being a trailblazer. I think Alex Padilla, you could see there that she clearly meant something to him. Just sort of characterize the political figure that she is.
Well, she was a friend to me. She was good to me. I worked on her governor's race, and Pete Wilson whacked us back in 1990. When she was in San Francisco, you can imagine they tried to recall her once, and a group of leftists, hardcore leftists, circulated petitions, and she defeated that. And that really set the tone for her. She was always going to get attacked from the left. And what she did in her career and in her life is extraordinary. First woman to head Senate Rules, first woman to head Senate Intelligence Committee, serve on all kinds of other committees, bringing people forward, treating people with dignity, treating people with respect. Those were all Diane's best characters. DIFI, as we like to call her. The assault weapons ban is certainly one of her signature pieces of legislation and the lives that saved. But she got together with John McCain, Senator John McCain, a Republican, and attacked and took down the CIA and the enhanced torture techniques. Brought all that to light, released that report to much condemnation and so on. But if you look at other things in the state of California, Joshua Tree became a protected area, Death Valley, and other places here in California because of Dianne Feinstein. She knew what we needed and was going to go get that stuff, and she always worked hard. God bless her. She's still with us. She's working hard. We're whistling a little bit here. What it was Mark Twain's old line about reports of my demise are not true. Diane's got 2 more years, and I think she's going to do well. The last 2 years, she's got one good fight left in her, and I hope to see her bring that to 4.
All right, Tim, I know that you're a Republican, but you always call a spade, and you don't let the letter that comes in front of your name get in the way of that. I mean, your reaction to this Feinstein news, because it's likely, I mean, we're going to see, obviously another Democrat succeed her. But just talk about her, her legacy here in the state of California. And it's interesting to see how so much has changed, because Ed talked about her running for governor, against Pete Wilson. That wasn't that, I mean, I know it was a while ago, but it wasn't that long ago. And just so the politics have changed so much here in California.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that she is iconic for California. I actually had the pleasure and honor of working with her twice on 2 statewide initiatives that I ran back 10 and 12 years ago. Successful statewide initiatives. One was in support of public safety and law enforcement. She was a great friend and ally to our law enforcement, police, and sheriffs across California. Had a great relationship with them. Another one was the first time that the legalization of recreational marijuana came on the ballot. She was a big opponent of that at the time, and we ran the successful campaign against that back in about 12 years ago. She is somebody who I really respect and admire, even though, as you said, she's got a D in front of her name. But I had the pleasure, as mentioned, of working with her twice. She is somebody that if you have to go into a fight, into a battle with anyone, you want Senator Feinstein on your side. She is a great Californian, great American, although you may have policy disagreements with her from time to time on certain things. When I had the opportunity to work with her, she was absolutely fantastic, all class, someone who is absolutely dedicated to California and Californians, and she will be missed in the Senate.
You know, Ed, just this couple minutes that we've been talking here, Tim outlined initiatives that he worked on with her and how, and you characterized, her relationship with John McCain. Is Senator Feinstein stepping away, making this decision to step away, something that we have been anticipating, kind of the sign of the end of an era,
Yeah.
because we don't see Democrats and Republicans working together. It seems like it's a lot of theater and a lot about a personal brand and how many likes and follows I can get on social media.
Well, who can get the cheap shot out quickest? I mean, I have for several months now, as you know, I every time we bring up running Dianne Feinstein off into the sunset, I'm against that. Let her pick. Let her decide. She's had a great career, and we have a tendency to diminish those careers. I mean, she worked across aisles. I mean, she was sometimes too conservative for me, and I would have issues with her, but it always came back to who was going to be there at the end of the day. Here's the thing. California has created this amazing bench of folks stepping up through statewide elected offices, through congressional races, through the Senate races. And as the woman you had on earlier alluded to, these seats don't come open very often. It's going to be a hell of a fight. You're going to have to raise somewhere between 10 and 20 million just to get through the primary.
I was going
That's
to
a
say,
chunk of cash.
Adam Schiff, they were on cable news. They don't know California that well. They were talking about him. Oh, he's got 20 million in the bank already. I was like, do they know how much money it costs to run for a statewide election in the state of California? But Ed, do you think, I know you are very passionate. We've had conversations offline about this over the past few months. And you said, she deserves to go out on her own terms. But do you think that maybe, you see how Pelosi did? Do you think that maybe she waited just a little too long? Because now you have these other candidates sort of like forcing her out.
Yeah, right. I mean, the footprint on her back is going to be Katie Porter's, and people aren't going to forget that. I think it'll be a problem for Katie Porter in the long run, is that she's going to have to, she didn't talk to Senator Feinstein. Maybe she did, but she didn't mention anything. Adam Schiff
tried
took the
to, but she didn't reach her. I asked her on Inside California Politics, and she said, I tried to reach out her, but she didn't take my call, but she took Adam Schiff's call. So maybe that's a sign of
Adam Schiff's call.
a possible endorsement.
I mean, the question you have is, why ride this out to the end? Is that Gavin gets an appointment, Governor Newsom gets an appointment if Senator Feinstein resigns or goes before that. Senator Feinstein and Governor Newsom, as far as I know, were on a friendly basis and got along well. But, I think that had to calculate into her thinking. One more thing about Dianne Feinstein is that she was somebody who, she wasn't a yuckety yuck. She didn't laugh it up, right? I mean, Barbara Boxer was so fun and bubbly to be around. But Senator Feinstein, when she turned to say something to you, you listened. You knew that you were not going to get some yuckety yuck. You were going to get something serious and something that could help you going forward. And she was always very kind to me.
So, Tim, that being said, Ed mentioned it before. This is a big seat. If you are elected senator in the state of California, you're there as long as you want to be. So in terms of this field that we're seeing right now, we have Katie Porter, as Ed mentioned, we have Adam Schiff, and Barbara Lee is expected. We don't know if Ro Khanna possibly is going to jump in, or if we're going to see a Republican, and does the ticket get split? I mean, and what do you see coming down the line here?
Well, I think a few things. One is every candidate that you named is decidedly more progressive, further to the left than Dianne Feinstein is and has been as a U.S. senator. So whoever comes out of that Democratic primary, I think it is a certainty that they will be much more or less like Dianne Feinstein and more like what you're seeing from some of the more vocal liberals out of Washington, D.C. I think that's number one. Number two, I think that whoever it is going to have to raise enormous amounts of money. And in order to communicate in a state like California, that is just a necessity. You talked about $20 million that gets you a few weeks of broadcast television in San Francisco and Los Angeles. But you really have to raise enormous amounts of money under federal limits, and that restricts really who can run and who can be viable. You have to be a candidate who can do that, or be able to put that money in to a campaign yourself. And I think those two things are certainties. I think that in terms of a Republican running for the U.S. Senate, certainly a Republican would pick up Republican votes, but I don't think in a general election they would have much of an opportunity, much of a chance to win a seat. It is a decidedly Democratic state, and I don't see that changing in terms of a U.S. Senate race unless something very unexpected were to happen.
I'm curious if we're going to see a Dem on Dem after the primary or a Dem on Republican.
It depends what the numbers are.
Okay.
If you have a Republican, one Republican running and a whole lot of Democrats running, you will see a Republican versus a Democrat.
Yeah, that would be interesting. All right, we're out of time. We didn't even get to talk about endorsements and if they matter. We'll have to have you back. Will you guys commit to the invitation? I know you will, because you're the best.
Anytime.
But, all right, we'll continue this conversation because the long road to 2024. Tim Rosales, Ed Emerson, we always appreciate your time. Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.